With the election just a few weeks away, tensions are at an all-time high. Family and friendships are being torn apart based on who people may vote for. Pastor Miles McPherson joins us again on this Friday morning. Good morning to you, Pastor Miles.
Good morning. Good morning. More drama. More drama.
Oh my goodness, we don't even need reality TV anymore. I mean, it gets wild. So I have to ask. Obviously, you're a man of faith. How can our faith, help us keep these relationships together at this time?
Let me say, when I was speaking 2 Sundays ago, I mentioned that this, actually I was thinking last Sunday, I mentioned this Sunday I was going to talk about the election for 3 weeks. And the chat just started blowing up, vote for this person, vote for that person. Oh. And I would tell you, someone asked me, a month ago, am I worried about our culture because of all the racial tension and all the politics? And he was saying that he's so worried about, who's going to be elected and what's going to happen. And I said, if your faith is in politics, you should be worried. And if your faith is in, the government or your money, you should be worried because there's a lot of drama out there, a lot of uncertainty. And that's why you got to put your faith in God. This week I'm starting a series called Red or Blue, What Would Jesus Do? And what would he do in this season? And it's not about who he would vote for because, frankly, he has his own government.
Right.
Someone asked me, was he political? I said, absolutely, but he brought his own government and he's the king and there's no voting. So, I mean, listen, everybody should vote. We have our earthly concerns, but there is a kingdom that's above the United States of America, and it's above this world. And there's a power and authority way above what we have. That's where our anchor needs to be. Mm-hmm. Because no matter what happens, if your candidate gets elected, you're not going to get everything you want.
Right.
If your candidate doesn't get elected, you're not going to get everything you want. You may be a little happier, but at the end of the day, it's not going to solve all your problems. So I would say go vote, be passionate. Someone asked Jesus once, do we render, should we pay taxes to Caesar? And he said, give Caesar what's due Caesar, but give God what's due God. And what Caesar was due was taxes and voting and whatever. But what God was due was our heart. And the problem, what we're seeing today, is that people are giving their heart to their politics.
That's right.
Bad solution. And as you can see, all the fights, and it's just not worth it. It's not worth it.
Right. And you know what? And it's important, though, because, we're talking about the drama and we're talking about people having faith, for instance, in politics, et cetera, et cetera. But when it starts, when you are with your close friends, when you are with your family members and you have opposing views, right now it is so tense. But why is it so important to still have these conversations with the folks we're not necessarily agreeing with?
I think here's the $1 million, and I teach this in my book, The Third Option, because the third option is all about us versus them in racism, but there's a us versus them in politics. And the third option is, look, if I get in a discussion about politics, which is very, very divisive, it's probably the most divisive tool, even worse than racism for some people. Mm-hmm. You shouldn't get into a discussion to win an argument. You should get in a discussion to win a relationship. And the big test of our character is how well do we get along with people who don't agree with us? How well do we love people and not tolerate? I know we're supposed to tolerate people. God said, no, I don't want you to tolerate. I want you to love people. It doesn't mean you have to agree with them. But if someone says something that's opposite to what I believe, whether it be politics or whatever, the test for me is how humble, how loving am I going to respond? If I'm only going to be nice to people who agree with me, that's not you don't need God for that, and you don't even need a whole lot of character for that. But really, the true test of our character is how well do we love people that don't agree with us, and that's what my sermon series is going to be about. And that's why I would challenge San Diego. Listen, your relationships with your family is not worth Trump or Biden. It's just not.
That's right.
And so we got to be really careful that we put things in perspective, because those guys and those parties are going to pass away, but your friendships and your relationships and your reputation is eternal. So that's what I would encourage people. Don't get your panties in a bunch.
Oh, well, there you go. I mean, more than that, too. And you know what? You bring up a good point, because as I've found myself saying, how you react and how you treat someone who disagrees with you, whether it's politically or whatever it is, it says more about you than it does about someone who opposes your viewpoint.
100%, because the goal is, look, is our goal to win elections? I mean, this election is going to come and go. There's going to be another one, another one, another one.
Right.
The goal is really how loving can I be? How can I grow in how much I love? How can I look back and say, listen, I didn't love that person well. I got to do better. I didn't love those people well. I got to do better. And even when it becomes politics or racism, people should be. You want to be woke, but go get woke to your own issue and say, you know, how can I be more patient, understanding? And maybe I don't know everything I think I know. You know, maybe I'm wrong. And so I think in the end, you want to grow as a human being, which is a loving, living being of other people, especially the people who don't agree with you.
You know, Pastor Miles, if I could show you like a tally of how many times I was saying amen in my head as you were speaking right now, I mean, it would be ridiculous. But you know, I have to thank you for bringing this up. Obviously, we have to check out your show that's coming up this Sunday, right here on Fox 5. But these are such great points. Thank you so much for being here with us this morning.
And this sermon will be on Fox and on our website as well at the church. So we're going to be lockstep every week, and it's going to be awesome.
That's right. Thank you so much, Pastor Miles. Appreciate you.
God bless you.
God bless you. Bye.